favorite tales from the Qur'an. These are two tales, the Great Ark and the Beautiful Prayer, by the Good Word Company. The Great Ark, Surah Nuh, chapter 71, verses 1 to 28. Long, long ago, Allah sent Nuh alayhi salam with the message of truth. For a very long time, Nuh alayhi salam tried to lead his people to the right path, but only a few poor people paid any heed. In fact, the rich people tried to harm Nuh alayhi salam. So Nuh alayhi salam prayed to Allah for help and Allah asked him to build an ark, saying that to punish these bad people, he would send a great flood. So Nuh alayhi salam, helped by a handful of believers, started building a huge ark. People laughed at them. When after lots and lots of hard and tiring work, the ark was ready to sail, Nuh alayhi salam asked all the believers to go on the board in the name of Allah. Allah told Nuh alayhi salam to bring along a male and a female of every kind of living creature as well. One by one, all the animals entered the ark. Some had wings, some had legs, some crawled, and some hopped. All came right into the ark in pairs. The ark became a huge barn for the animals and a safe houseboat for all the believers. The animals came running: giraffes and rhinos, elephants and camels, monkeys and wolves, cats and kangaroos, bears and horses, cows and sheep, lions and tigers, and all went into the ark in pairs. There were chickens and ducks, flamingos and hawks, peacocks and pelicans, ostriches and hens, to name but a few. Birds, both tiny and big, that flew high above the earth came along too. All were gathered in pair and led on board. Tortoises, snails, and turtles came crawling along the ground. Then came frogs and grasshoppers who hopped into the ark. Rabbits too ran races. Let's see who gets on the board first. And finally came the crocodiles with their big jaws. No sooner had all the creatures came on board and the supplies had been stowed away, than black clouds began to cover the sky. First there was a drizzle, then the rains came. More and more rain fell each day. Day after day, rain and more rain. The whole world seemed to be dark. It became darker and darker, with strong winds blowing from every side and water rising in huge waves as far as the eye could see. Allah commanded the floodgates of heavens to open and the grounds to crack open so that the fountain of water came shooting up. The rivers overflowed and the water fell in torrents. The ark rose and fell into waves as tall as mountains. More and more water came till the valleys were filled. The trees were covered by water and the hills and the mountains sank out of sight. The world was like a huge sea. The only thing one could see was water everywhere. Far down below, all those who had paid no attention to the call of Prophet Nuh alayhi salam were drowned in the mighty flood. With the rain hammering on the roof and the great wind that roared all around, the ark went on sailing amidst the waves. The thunder rolled and the lightning flashed from the angry skies. Everyone on board was frightened, but Nuh alayhi salam kept praying to his Lord for his mercy and this great moment of trial. When the flood had reached its peak, Allah commanded the earth to swallow up its water and the sky to hold back the rain. The water began to dry up. The rain had stopped. The clouds began to part. As the water began to go down, the mountain's peak began to rear up out of it. The ark was caught by the peak of Mount Judi in the land now known as Turkey and rested upon it. The Prophet Nuh alayhi salam and the believers who were with him thanked Allah for saving them from such a terrible flood. Everyone happily came out of the ark. The animals were led to safety. Nuh alayhi salam prayed, "Lord, let my landing from this ark be blessed, for you alone can make me land in safety." In this way, Allah made the flood and the ark of Nuh alayhi salam a sign and a warning for all those who came after the Prophet Nuh alayhi salam. Now to the next story. The beautiful prayer. Surah Anbiya, chapter 21, verse 83 to 84. The Prophet Ayub, or Job alayhi salam, was a great prophet who lived in the 9th century BC. He lived in Hararan near Damascus in Syria and set great examples for everyone. Besides being very wise and kind, Ayub alayhi salam was also a very rich man. He had huge herds of cattle, vast field, a large family, and many friends. Yet he was always a trusty servant of Allah and kept asking others to worship him. But Shaitan made people think that it was only because Ayub alayhi salam was wealthy that he lived a good life, and that if his blessings were taken away, he would no longer be grateful to Allah. To put him to test, Allah caused his cattle, crops, and children to die. And worst of all, Ayub alayhi salam became very ill and had to stay in bed for many years. Very soon, Ayub alayhi salam became very poor and his friends left him one by one. But Ayub alayhi salam was not angry. He put his entire trust in Allah, feeling sure that Allah knew best about everything. When his suffering and loneliness became very bad, Ayub alayhi salam turned to Allah in humble prayer, crying, "I cannot bear all these ills, but you are the most merciful of all." Allah heard his beautiful prayer and put an end to his long and terrible hardship. He ordered Ayub alayhi salam to strike the ground with his feet. He did as Allah said, and by a miracle, a spring of fresh water gushed forth. No sooner did Ayub alayhi salam take a bath in it than his illness was cured and he became strong and healthy again. Because Ayyub alayhi salam had been very patient all this time, Allah not only rewarded him with great gifts in the hereafter, but made him doubly wealthy in this world. He became so rich that it was said he was rained upon with locusts of gold. He had a new family of 7 sons and 3 daughters. He lived to the ripe old age of 93 and saw 4 generations. And that's all for today.
Happy reading.
Happy reading.